get settled and start this next crazy panel. So message people and fill in, come on closer and join, and we're going to do this thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start Tipsy Time Machine. So, the way this is going to work, I need to know, how many of you out there are fans of The Dragon Show? Okay, so we have a couple. For the uninitiated, the way this is going to work, I had a number of very carefully, very clearly thought out topics planned for this panel, and I thought to myself, I have a day to plan for this panel. But you know what? This started as a lazy, shitty panel, and it's going to stay a lazy, shitty panel. Thank you, sir. Shitty panel. Shitty panel. So, the way this is going to work, we do not have an explicit charity component for this panel, but if any of you want to come forward to put money into the history hat, it is a legitimate history hat. This is a 1864 Union kepi used by a Union soldier in the Civil War, with slight modifications because it's obviously modernized.
Why does it say made in China on the side?
Because Trump. That's right. If any of you want to come up and put money in the hat, you can feel free to come up and do that. So, the way this panel is going to work, I have a number of topics I have prepared. I was originally going to have each person speak about a particular topic in turn, but I realize now that the best way for this panel to work, especially considering I am very drunk and I'm going to be helming basically a ship full of inebriated assholes. Sorry, inebriated idiots.
It's Canadian invasion, so it's a-hole.
If any of you would like to come up and drop some money in the hat, you can come up right about a boot where I am. And you can put some money in the hat. And what we're going to do, we're going to...
You went from Canadian to Scottish mid-sentence. I think you can handle it a wee bit drunk. You know, grapefruit, you're right, well.
I'm not Scottish, I'm Egyptian, you asshole. Take that reference up, fuckers. That's Sean Connery in Highlander, for any of you who know what we're doing. Anyway, so the way that this panel is going to work, I will propose a topic. We will go down the line. It will work like a giant round table because that's the best way that any drunken discussion works. Everyone will pipe in whether they want to or not, and whether or not it is germane to a topic.
If this is a round table, why are we all sitting like it's the Last Supper?
Okay.
Because it's Thursday and some of us are already going to die.
Does this round table? Yeah, okay.
If alkali was an insult comic, he'd be Judas.
Oh my God. Hey, Diana, I want to have a poll.
For those of you who are familiar with The Dragon Show.
Yeah, 30 seconds later.
Oh, you don't know what I have planned for the opening topic, motherfucker. Just wait, we're gonna get really dark.
Can I see an insult comic panel where it's Jewish people insulting colors called Judas? That would be amazing.
Xander just said that I think we have an hour opening in the schedule. Guys, do you want to see a Judas panel? Yeah! Guess what, Xander?
Hold on for a second. When I hear that sound, I'm like... And the hockey song.
Hey, high school, you know why that won't work?
Why? already at 8 hours, fucktard.
Damn it!
Well, guess what, idiots? I am the German, and the Germans always run on time.
German, shut up before he ovens me.
Oh no. Okay, so
Speaking of that, I must present my good friend Alkali and my good friend Pendes with something that is germane to the Dragon Show. If you have been around in the chat for a long time, and I'm going to stop this accent because that's best reserved for the first bit that I have going. If you guys have followed the chat for any length of time, some of you may be familiar with the blood ritual.
Oh, goody! I've never seen this before or heard this before. What is the blood ritual?
The blood ritual. Alkali asked for an hour. I will summarize it in about 20 seconds if I can. This gentleman was playing a video game wherein he was forced. Was it a magic card game? Something like that? Anyway, he was somehow, some way, the topic, the blood ritual, came up, and Xander, who was looking behind him, chirped in with, the blood ritual! The blood ritual!
And I yelled out, the blood ritual! And he yelled out, an hour later, this fucker tuned into our show and made this.
Actually, it was, if you want, well, this actually counts as history for Tipsy Time Machine. While you guys were filming your 200th episode, somebody mentioned that the blood ritual, actually no, it was actually from a question I had submitted. The blood ritual came up, and within 15 minutes, I had made a piece of art for the blood ritual chat, which turned into this adorable sticker, which is now a badge for you.
Warning, source is an alcoholic. Distill twice before using.
But knowing that I was going to a Canadian FurCon, I had to make something that was specifically Canadian. So,
really quick, guys. The blood ritual was myself and him, very drunk in a garage. But there is a person that we owe the creativity. There is a person that we owe the Dragon Show ever getting off the ground.
Jack Daniels.
This is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite badges of all time, Xander. And we give this to Pandas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pandas, the reason the Dragon Show has gotten to the point that it is with the comic stylings and one of the greatest punch-up artists I have ever had the pleasure of working with. Guys, are we cool with giving Pandas the original blood ritual badge?
Plandes?
I have been drinking for 2 hours, you fuck!
Your liver is better than mine. Anyway, to wrap this up, because I know we only have an hour. Pandas, I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do for a Canadian blood ritual badge, so I just put a mounting hat on it, and I filled the blood ritual bag with syrup, and I called him Barry, the maple ritual syrup bag. Warning. Source, donor, Pandas pen. Type, ritual syrup. Warning. Source is a Canadian. Apologize twice before using.
Hey, so as the director of programming, I found a perfect place in the schedule for Judas.
No! Is it after 40 days and 40 nights?
It better be on the Sabbath.
Damn it!
Okay, but here's the thing. So, I actually need the head of secondary events to approve this.
He wants the head! Sorry.
Because it is Saturday at 1 in the morning. Now, veto power goes to Northwind, who is our head of secondary events. Northwind, thumbs up or thumbs down, we can make Judas a panel at IFC.
Hold on, what year?
What?
What year?
Every year? 2018.
Veto! I want to go to bed!
These
are actually
I need to understand something before I continue on. You are saying we are doing Judas panel that insults my entire religion.
We have
money.
Hey, everybody, Catholics!
Hold on. What was your line?
I said, for money.
I'm in for money. And there are two conditions.
I have one of my own.
One.
Oh, wait.
There are two conditions for me. One, I do not represent all of Judaism. Two, Huskoon and Evil are there.
Oh my God.
Yes, also fair.
What am I, like the Protestant referee? Give me a break.
Five singers.
By far.
You were in on number 3. Xander, go!
Hey, gloriously fat
I am
hair.
the finance director.
You're the financial director and your hair, you don't represent Judaism?
Here sits Alkaline, a fine fur with a marvelous Jew fro. That is ever expanding. Don't mock his pension or he'll nuke your pension, and then he'll go home and rail Xander.
Alkaline, so there's 3 things here, okay? So there's 3 things. 1, you have, curly hair, right? You work with money, right? Did you vote for Trump? No. Okay, then you are like a full-fledged Jew.
Okay, sir, as the only official accredited historian on this panel, I have to say, I am insulted by the fact that you brought up something that happened within the last 5 years as a historical topic. You don't have any kind of objective with bringing up anything that happened within the last 5 years because it hasn't been long enough for you to have any kind of objective opinion. And you know what? With that word, we're going to start, my friends, we're going to start with something very difficult and very dark. Ladies and gentlemen, the furry fandom, I'm going to be honest, the furry fandom, sir, please be quiet, I'm holding the microphone, this is my panel. The furry fandom, let's be honest guys, it is basically the internet given life. We have memes, we have things we'd rather forget, we have dark corners that we don't talk about unless it's for charity and they bring us money. So we all know what happens when anyone starts any kind of discussion on the internet. Something always comes up, a certain person is always used to compare something to anything. And you know what happens? We're going to be adults, we're all inebriated, we all have anything that we have to say.
Something who sounds like Erner.
We're going to...
No, you're very close. We are all inebriated. Look how sober you are.
I think that means I need another drink.
Like 36-year-old Canadian Club whiskey.
I would like some of that.
If you can pour it into a glass that doesn't currently have meat in it. Ladies and gentlemen, fuck censorship. We're all adults. We're going to start with Hitler!
Meanwhile, everyone at Euroference, which is going on right now, so they would...
They felt a chill when it says spine. They felt city trains when it's on time. And on that point, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, and sorry if I slip into voices because that's what I do when I'm drunk. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if any of you know what I do for a living. I'm a historian. What I do is I try to take simple topics and I make them understandable for children. And the best way I've found for talking about anything as complicated as the Second World War is to say, kids. So what you saying?
Oh, come on.
What you saying?
There he was, sitting in a trench, getting mustard bomb. He didn't have a Chicago-style hot dog, so
Or McDonald's cheeseburger.
I can yell. I will legitimately break speakers. Once again, a huge applause to AB. They're the only ones that keep my equipment from breaking.
He said huge applause, motherfucker. Come on.
And we're going to do a huge applause like this guy's dick. I don't know who you are, but you're about to become really popular. There was Hitler sitting in a trench in, I don't know, Vietnam.
Actually, it's France. If you want to be
Okay,
historically correct.
Vietnam, France.
French is no China.
Hitler was in a trench in French Viet Cong.
No.
A French trench.
Alkali, there's a song here.
What?
Adolf and Eva sitting in a trench.
Hold on. Alkali, I want to interject for 1 second.
Absolutely.
Hitler was a painter who gave up on his dreams. If you are an artist, you give up on your dreams, you might kill millions of people! Don't be Hitler!
So what you're saying is, Xander, I should just stop making shit for the Dragon Show chat so I can be the next world leader! Anyway, getting back to my original topic, ladies and gentlemen, the best way I found to talk about the Second World War is not as a war itself, but to say children.
Look,
You can talk about the Second World War, but really Hitler is the worst DM in the world for playing Dungeons and Dragons because he said he came upon the world stage during the 1930s and he said, "Nein! Third edition, that is Scheiße!
Bernard.
We must start with fourth edition!" And the rest of the world said, "Aww, I hate fourth edition, it's so bad, I don't want to use it." And Hitler said, "Nein! We must use the fourth edition because it is, obviously, it was created by Germans. It is the most practical and the most ingenious edition, no matter how many steps that are involved."
Does this mean that Lyndon B. Johnson was pretty high on the list of awful DMs?
Yeah! Maybe he was right behind Nixon, who said continually to all of his
please
participants,
do not battle in the front row of the audience.
Okay.
That is
So, yeah,
It's historical.
We're good. The insurance is kicked in already. They can kill each other and we are not liable.
Pause! I've been doing this shit for a long time. Here we go. This is the talking box. If we don't have a talking box, this is going to get fucking retarded.
Going to get.
No. That is a terrible word. I owe money.
Just put the Amex in there, man.
Wait, so, you jingoistic Jew, we've been going at this for half an hour.
If you want to talk, you need the empty tequila box, or this is going to get you
You know what's really bad, Alkali?
What?
You know what makes it really bad is that my sister is actually mentally handicapped. No, real.
Oh no, take away this microphone.
We gave him a microphone earlier.
I want to talk more about Hitler and D&D. Because he does sound like someone who would use the third edition like a prick. The third edition of D&D is like a third right. You can't understand it. So there's nothing about the plot going on there either. But what you really don't know is that the Third Reich actually had a dungeon and a dragon. For overtaking it.
Okay. Hey, I have not talked all now. You are all wrong. Hitler was a mustache model with a full-on Tom Selleck mustache. And he was hanging out with some Jewish friends. He's like, you should take the tips off of that. So they trimmed it down to the little tiny stash. And he was so angry that he just wanted to kill all his Jewish friends. And he just took it over.
Oh.
So, if we can get back to the original topic, the Second World War, as dictated as the worst Dungeons and Dragons campaign ever. So, if Hitler is the DM, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make this into a roundtable discussion. What are the classes that the other countries occupy? For example, Russia. We have obviously the barbarian. We have the vodka. We have the lineage. We have destroyed the Germans once before. We will keep them out of our country. Or, after we win the war, we will decide to, split the country with them. 50-50, call it even, and then, elect Khrushchev. We'll make shitty policy.
The box!
So, Alkali, pick a country, what is that World War II country's D&D player class? For example, France.
Don't take my idea!
Switzerland is a commoner.
I was worried we were going to run out of time on topics to talk about when I was stage with these fuckers.
You have to remember one thing, you lazy, non-foul smelling Americans. Because it's World War II and they didn't have access to soap. I'm actually a huge history buff.
You are huge.
Thanks, fucker. Hey, remember when we were talking about first impressions earlier? You're a dick. If you were any more of a dick, I'd be sucking on your forehead.
It's empty enough.
Did you just jerk off? Look, here's what it comes down to. As France, I need to remind you of one thing. Sure, it may look like we're retreating. A good bard knows what he's doing. A good bard bides his time and plays the song. Shall we play the song of our people?
Do it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, let's put a nuke on Japan, and it's over.
I brought my own, thanks.
Whoa! What?
I feel like
You asshole! You fucked that up!
30 milliseconds.
So, I'm going to drop some real history on you guys here real
The
quick.
box means nothing.
The box means nothing when the actual dedicated, scholarship, degree-carrying historian is talking, you assholes.
That's right,
The
you
Frenchman didn't drop the bomb on Japan. That was
You don't know
America.
that is your opinion.
Wait, what's the class?
That's Donald Trump talking, you drunk.
Everybody knows that it was a Canadian who dropped the bomb on Japan.
So, if I'm going to hit you guys something, I'm going to hit you guys with a real historical fact. So, the original plane that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945.
Was gay!
It was so gay. It was named the Enola Gay.
The gays killed millions of people.
Yes, that's right. But
That's AIDS.
it could have been much worse, Dragon. The Enola Gay was named for the mother of the pilot. It could have been much worse though, because the backup plane, that was called the Necessary Evil.
Whoa!
That is real.
That's legit.
That is legit.
Drink.
So, if I can keep, I do want to tell you guys this story because it's one of my favorite stories this is from the First World War.
It's okay, Box. I still love you.
So,
Hold on! Why was it Necessary Evil the first plane? That's a way cooler name than the Enola Gay!
Hold on, Simpson.
We were blamed for everything in the 80s. Fuck that!
Because somebody's mother was named Enola and they couldn't think of a last name, so they just said, hey, this is going to be a happy mission flying over the nation of Japan. People drop some a big happiness bomb.
Why is it in German saying this?
If you know your history, a lot of the people who were responsible for getting us to fucking space to beat the Russians came out of Germany. That's where we got von Braun.
I thought we called it the game we plugged the Japanese right up the ass.
Oh boy, we beat the Russians to space and danced on a big dust rock. Ooh, look at us, whoop-de-doo. We're gonna point the flag. There's a goddamn rock. Who gives a shit?
Area 51 for the moon landing a long time. Show some respect.
What was the question?
So, the new question. I'm gonna. Okay.
Sorry, what was the question?
The German voice is the new default voice. Okay, so the new question is, and this is the question that I really wanted to get before this panel finished. So, we have all been with the furry fandom for at least, let's say, 7 years, 7 to 10 years.
Conservatively, yes.
For me, it's a 13. So, we all know what the furry fandom represents and what we can handle. I want us to go around the table, starting with Xander and working our way over.
Oh, right.
What is the worst period of history for the furry fandom to exist in? The modern furry fandom. What is the worst period of history for us to be transported to?
I would say before 00 AD, because that's just barbarians coming in your shit and like, you're wearing fur and acting weird, we're just gonna kill and rape you and take all your shit. That was all of history before Jesus, I swear to God, look it up, that's all.
I'm serious.
Get back to the box.
Is that a problem?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So, the worst,
I may be from the Pacific.
the worst period.
Hey, I've got the box, but oh, I have to do a question tonight.
The worst period for the furry fandom, the modern furry fandom to exist in right now.
Oh, the modern furry fandom.
Yeah, the modern furry fandom.
Okay, so disqualifying his answer entirely then.
Alright.
Because he said 0 BC. Okay, forget it. And it's BCE. Sell it. Sorry, and you mentioned I am from the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
So I can, with much qualification, say, and God rest his soul, it was the Doug Winger years. I'm sorry, did you think I was going to say rain first?
The dick nipple!
But no, the shitting dick nipple years, that's the thing. What do you think why do you think I was hiding in my dorm alone in college? That's how old I am, fuckers. Some of you blastocysts don't even know who Doug Winger is, do you?
Dick nipples!
If you Google shitting dick nipples, you will come up with somebody who I believe was like a Disney animator.
Guys, do not Google shitting dick nipples.
Or if you're doing it's like Safe Church on.
We're not starting that chance.
So all of the crazy shit that you live with that people make fursuits of now just for like fun and shits and giggles. This was somebody who was a marvelous, fantastic, charitable, personable human being who drew the gnarliest shit you could ever imagine in the 90s.
I can confirm I have seen it against my will.
I have fat tooed against it.
Hold on.
Yay!
So what you're saying is fair.
I believe the worst era for the current furry fandom to be in would be the late 20s. Because after the stock market crash, can you imagine those GoFundMes? Like, emergency commissions, all my stocks are worth nothing.
Oh my God, that's too real.
OMG, I'm in the Dust Bowl!
Alright. Worst period in history for furry fandom in the modern time, and it would be a little time called October 30th, 2003, which would be the time that Fur and Loathing in Las Vegas on CSI aired. Yeah, that That was not a flattering episode. It scared the shit out of me. I actually didn't join the fandom for about 6 years after that episode.
Fuck that episode.
Boo. I love CSI 2. Gil Grissom is my bae.
Grissom is adorable.
Grissom's so adorable.
Can we just have a whole panel about Gil Grissom? Yes.
I would love to do that.
I would be on top of that.
I feel like this question was designed for me, so you want to know what the question is? What the hell?
You have a super fan. You better release him.
In modern history for the furry fandom. Oh my God, he's not even looking at me.
I'm sorry. I'm looking. Every once in a while, I need a healer because I know that compared to most of you, I don't have a liver that can take anything, and I'm pointing at my white mage because I need a rest. Oh my God, out of mana. Need a rest. Need a restorative. Oh, hello.
Give him an elixir before I drop a, little boy.
Oh, it's better than a fat man.
Hey, Air. Hey, give me a fist bump. Air fist bump. That hurt my asshole.
What's your answer?
Fisted Huskun, yay!
Fisted Huskun. Fisted Huskun. Fisted Huskun.
Fisted Huskun.
Hashtag fist husky.
Zen, come here. I want
Zen Fox.
I want to see how tiny your hands are.
goodness.
No, I want to see how. Oh my God, your hands are so tiny.
No, Huskun. We need your answer.
Oh, that's right. I mean,
What is the worst time period for modern furry people?
Go, peasants, go. Leave. Abandon my friend.
Stop telling to leave and answer the question.
Okay.
question.
All right. To put it bluntly, the Trump presidency is the worst era for the furry fandom.
Okay.
Maybe not directly related to Trump, but definitely the attitude that has been prevalent on social media, the most popular social media among furries, Twitter, where you have a lot of infighting, a lot of witch hunts, the prevalence of, I don't want to say Nazis, but people who are looking to get a rise out of people with opposing views. In general Twitter. And what has genuinely happened is people are looking for a rise and battling constantly with each other, where there is a feeling of loss within the community. And sorry for turning this panel into, a county panel into something serious, but I think in just looking for ways to attack, whether it's conventions for having the wrong theme or having the wrong GOH, or people for drawing the wrong things. And just people having the wrong opinions, and we see it, and it's also outside of political spectrums. You see people who are on the right attacking the right and left attacking the left. So I think that there is a significant increase in infighting, and it really takes away from what the family that has been the furry fandom for such a long time.
Okay, so I will applaud that answer. That is a very concise, very interesting answer. However, none of you brought up what was the obvious answer. Pandez, you came very close. You mentioned the 1920s. Obviously, the worst period for the furry fandom is 1928, because, oh wow, look at this, America, we're on top of the world, it's the end of the First World War, everybody else has already blown to shit, their economies are crumbling, we're the only ones they can buy from, and as we are flush with cash, the furry fandom walks down New York Boulevard and turns into a bar and says, "Give me a stiff drink!" Wait, what's that? What's this? A new law has been passed. Prohibition. What do you mean? What? There's no booze? There's no food? What am I? How the fuck am I supposed to overcome my crippling sense of self-worth?
Cocaine.
How am I supposed to to say you're a worthless piece of shit and you should move to another state like Iowa or Wisconsin to find my self-worth. The entire furry fandom in the 1920s devolves into a poor, lonely, boozy badger crying into an empty beer stein, begging for the kiss of a bullet. And suddenly,
that is not how grinder hookups work.
Suddenly, until an archangel appears, rising from the bathtub. A man, a tall ferret with a top hat, who says, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like some hot, fresh booze, boy oh boy, just come down the street and get a hot drink from Alkali's Fuck Tub!"
How do you know our skits?
We listen to your show!
You're idiots. Cut out the middleman. Get stoned as shit.
Next question. Pandas, I have a question that is very specific to you.
Okay.
Thank you. I need some more booze here. Give me a second.
This is full of Malibu, just so you guys are aware.
So, I never learned anything about Canada. My 6th grade teachers tried for about a year to teach me about Canada, but I said, fuck that, it's just America's hat. What do I care? So, can you tell us the secret history of when Canada helped us win the War of 1812 against the British?
So the War of 1812, and a lot of people think the War of 1812 is because it was in the year 1812. It was actually the War of 1812 because the British and the States wanted to throw like a really awesome party. And they couldn't figure out, the States was like, let's spend the money, let's have it be $18 a plate for people to show up. And Britain was like, no, let's be frugal, let's do $12 a plate. And they couldn't agree, so, you know, the States was like, no, $18 a plate. And Britain was like, no, $12 a plate. And so they decided, well, then let's just go to war over this. And you know, the States was like, we're going to throw this party at the White House. And the British were like, fuck your White House, we'll just burn it down. And you know, this is what happens when you try and have a party and you can't agree on who's bringing what or what the price is going to be. You get war.
That's some historically accurate bullshit right there. I like that.
Who burned down Kingston in 1944 or 1844?
1844? I'm sorry, sir. My historical training only goes back to the start of the Civil War when, I guess, from what I understand, a bunch of Americans were really angry about who had the right to subject...
Other Americans.
Yeah, about the Americans who had the right to subject, I think it was a bunch of sexy lizard people, I think they were called kobolds, to slavery or not? I mean, do you have any... The Civil War, what was it actually about? I've heard it was actually about it was actually a war to decide who would be allowed to control the race of kobold slaves.
I think people want to see it.
The Civil War had barely anything to do with slaves.
Fuck you! Actually, what? Objection!
Objection! I'm sorry. We're going to give the floor over to the audience. I have an objection. I'm sorry. What is your words that mean things that let you object?
Alkali's fucked up. That's right. Come on down and get all the fill that you can.
So there were the slaves not allowed to join in Alkali's fucked ups, and it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool.
That's a lie.
You know why today is awesome? Because all you need to sign on to Grindr is an email address, a password, statistics that show you don't have a lot of AIDS. You got some AIDS, you're probably okay. Not a lot of AIDS. You gotta catch them all. Thank you. Thank you, Xander.
Hey, that's Jerry. Hey, Xander,
of a
that's a Jerry
wonderful-
Sandusky model also.
If you get an STD, use a condom a second time.
You made me say
Oh
that.
wait, no, he's up.
Here's what it comes down to. There's no such thing as a war about the topics that we know war about. If you want to watch something that'll make you kind of shit yourself in fear, awe, and what the fuck was America doing?
The regular show.
You want to watch two things that make you shit yourself because of what we're doing is one, the regular show. Because when I think of history, I think of the regular show. Mordecai, Rigby, Gumball Machine Guy, Hitler,
Skips, who is voiced by Mark Hamill, who also voiced the Joker. That's right, the Joker is now on the
Skywalker.
Fuck that, he's the Joker.
He's Cockknocker.
Joker Skywalker.
Here's what it comes down to. War, we all know it's bad, but sometimes we want a new swimming pool. America's swimming pool, in this case, was Russia not being the USSR. We're swimming in that shit. Enjoy your fucking free, I don't know, cheese? Do we get free cheese?
Government cheese.
These suck.
Where's the box?
So Alkali,
No.
by this logic,
Anyway,
Holy fuck, are you on this panel?
yes.
You are anti-Twitter.
You told me to be on this
You
panel.
know, you need to understand. Well, how much time do we have left? 10 minutes? Good, that's just enough time to say this.
10
Because
minutes.
they're stupid enough to give them the microphone. Huskoon, I follow you on Twitter for one reason.
The drama.
You are the one person on Twitter that still gets alerts to my phones. Would you like to know why?
Yes.
Because I want to know how much diarrhea I will forcefully push out of my ass every time you tweet the most inane, hateful, wonderful, true, false bullshit. And that is why I respect this son of a bitch. Because he has enough balls to say the truth,
You're turning
while
purple.
having enough brain power to say, but sometimes the truth is wrong. And you fuckers hate him for it. And it's weird, and I kind of want to pee on it.
I want to actually go back to your old point.
Hold on! Matthew Evil has a counterpoint, and he also is in possession of a microphone.
I was actually just going to say you're turning purple.
I love purple. It's a good lightsaber. I'm a nerd.
I want to go back to your other point about winning swimming pools through war.
I don't remember that, but
Okay, no.
continue.
Because I like this idea, because this means that through the Spanish-American War, we got like a good chunk of the Caribbean. And if it wasn't for the Spanish-American War, we wouldn't have people trying to swim 90 miles from Cuba to Miami.
If it wasn't for the Spanish-American War, our tacos would suck.
I just see that we are filming this, and please don't tag me when you upload this. Thanks, alright.
Hey, whoever's recording this.
My name is Assenport, by the way, and this
If you
was my
are
panel.
recording this, I'm talking to you back there. You masturbate to this on your own time. I was told by not one, but two different people, your comedy was hysterical. Oh, thank you very much. I jerked off to it, and I don't know how to respond to that. The first time it happened, it was scary. The second time it happened, I got a hooker.
If I had nickels for every time someone told me that they jerked off to my work, I'd probably be a millionaire right now, and I wouldn't have to do commissions anymore.
There's going to be a lot of one-handed TripAdvisor reviews for this hotel.
Wait a second. So, I know we have another artist and we have another writer out here. Do you guys get told that?
He does.
Ever get told in public?
Hey, guess
Who's our audience writer? I can't see that far.
He's your guest.
I wish it was Joe Shia so fucking bad. That's what I fucking thought.
The old fucker eats glasses.
He knows the struggle.
And hey, Alkali, we also have Atomist.
That's not what I meant when I said give me the box.
Outline. We also have our GOH Adamus up
Where's
there.
Adamus? Where is it? You were supposed to be on stage, fucko!
Right here.
Yes!
There's like 7 minutes left.
Hey,
Ladies and gentlemen,
no. You're
That's cool. Hang on. Okay, so we only have about 5 minutes left of this panel. I was hoping it would be a little bit more organized, but unfortunately, this is my first panel.
We're drunk!
We are all drunk. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 5 minutes, I would like us to very clearly and concisely go around the table. Shut up, you bastard. I can't see you because this fucking light's in my eyes and I'm blinder than Xander. Stop that AV.
Wow, what's with the new
I will
stop.
do something. I would like you guys, each of the people at this panel, to go around the table and tell us, if you can remember it clearly and accurately, what is the craziest true story from history that you can remember? What is the craziest story that you can't believe is true from history that you have heard? I will pass.
Go,
Xander.
I'm sure there's better if I thought about it, but this is just off the top of my head. There was a World War II sniper known as, I think it was from the Netherlands or something.
The White Death.
Yeah, the White Death. He put fucking snow in his mouth and just like, he gained like over 200. How many people did he kill?
He was a Finnish sniper. He killed over 800 people.
Yeah.
Actually related to me.
Why is there not a movie about this guy? That dude is amazing.
Hey, Xander.
That's all I got.
There's a movie, but there's a bitchin' metal song.
There you go. A bitchin' metal song about the, what's his name? The White Death? Alright, there you go. All I got.
Look it up.
I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing.
Oh, you guys.
There is nothing in history that doesn't surprise me at this point. We had a gay president in like the 1800s. Nobody knows about it.
What?
Who was the first lady? His cousin. Were they pretending to be married? No, she just lived in there as a fucking just a roommate in the White House in the 1800s.
Give me a name. If it doesn't have a name.
No, not Abraham.
If it doesn't have a name, it doesn't
1800s.
One
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Oh my God. We're not the only one.
Who was it?
Oh Jesus Christ.
Buchanan.
Buchanan.
He was also considered the worst president.
He was. No. That would be Warren G. Harding, and fuck Warren G. Harding. No. Actually, sorry. The worst
Woody
president.
Harrelson?
You're gonna say the worst president. You're gonna say the worst president with the Cheeto with the hairdo that he bought in China, like right now is okay. Sorry.
Hey, he still got 6 more years.
Everybody's gonna ignore that I just threw up into something with a lid on it. But that's all I got.
We're going to go back to one that some of you I'm sure know. It's something that was taught to me by a teacher in my high school who actually cared. It was one of those weird, like, films. No, not even kidding. Yes, not even kidding. This guy was not only the only teacher that I felt that cared, he taught film and theater after teaching military history. And we're going to go all the way back to Benedict Arnold.
Oh, the X?
Yeah, no. Benedict Arnold, we're going to go with this one. I need you to understand something about Benedict Arnold. Was he a traitor? Yes. It is never the proper thing to do. He was a traitor. It happened.
Question.
Yeah.
Does the breakfast dish have anything to do with it?
What?
Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict has nothing to do with Benedict
God
Arnold.
damn it. Get out of here, Egghead.
I need you guys to understand something. Benedict Arnold at the fort where he betrayed the United States before any of this happened. Forts don't just spring up in the middle of a field. Why would you need a fort in a field? Forts show up at very strategic locations. Benedict Arnold walked like I did, and believe this or not, he suffered from one of the same ailments that I did, his knee, blah, 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 blah. Benedict Arnold climbed to the top of a cliff to get a strategic sniper point back before snipers, quotation snipers, were a thing, and waved to all of his troops as somebody who they at the time considered a cripple. He had been saying for years that this strategic point that they picked was not as strategic as they thought. He fought against Washington. He fought against everyone, telling them, you don't know what you're doing. I'm a local general and I do, and they ignored him. And he got so frustrated that he did betray the U.S. Was that the right response? Absolutely not. But in the end, I need you all to remember something. Have you ever been so frustrated? Have you ever been so frustrated with your boss? Or your leadership?
Yeah!
I can't say words right. I'm drunk as shit. Benedict Arnold, a man with a handicap, climbed to the top of a ridge to show his troops that he could kill every single one of them. And leadership said, so what? And Benedict Arnold betrayed. If Benedict Arnold did not do what he had done, he would probably be one of our greatest generals of all time. And that is what this amazing, unbelievable military history teacher taught me, and I will never forget him. Mr. Matthews is the reason that to this day, if I find a military history documentary, I will watch it. It was amazing. He just got kind of fed up.
Is that what in Alcoholics Anonymous they call a moment of clarity? Because that was really,
That's real. That's real. Mr. Matthews, my military history teacher, got me into history because before that, I just had teachers that wanted me to memorize the dictionary. And quite frankly,
That's every history teacher.
I can jerk off instead of going to history.
So there is one story that I wanted to tell you guys since the cycle began. It is, well, this is what we're going to end with.
Does it involve Hitler?
It does not involve Hitler, but it does involve a German soldier during the First World War. And I'm sorry, you guys who are on the end of the panel, that you're not going to get a chance to speak. Sorry. Yeah, this is my panel. This is a story that I want to tell all of you because it's so incredible that I can't believe it actually happened. So, to give you a little bit of context, during the First World War, there was a battlefield called Verdun. Happened in 1916. It was designed to be a meat grinder. That is, it was designed by the German command to kill as many Frenchmen as possible. It is one of the worst battles to ever occur in human history. It claimed over 1 million lives over 10 months. And that's the first battle of Verdun. That's not even including the second, which was fought in 1917 to 1918. So, in this grand battle, which included the debut on a large scale of the flamethrower, poison gas, grenades, the truncheons, the sniper rifle, the machine gun, you would have teams of German soldiers trying to take a little fort that was in the middle of this battlefield that was called Verdun. And the thought was, and this is during the First World War, remember, so this was the tail end of when forts were thought to be strategically valuable. The Germans are running across the field. They're sending hundreds, I mean literally hundreds of German men to just die to French shellfire. And these are guns that were basically designed to fire from battleships. You are told, as a German soldier, you have run across the field into 7 or 8 machine guns and maybe about a dozen large caliber shelling weapons. Yes, let's go with that. That will maybe leave us with a few pieces of human flesh to put in a box and bury in the ground. So, in an attempt to take this fort, they send an army of a surge of German troops across the field to try to take this French fort. And a German soldier whose name has been lost to history, unfortunately, a shell goes off behind him. It's about a 420 millimeter shell. It goes off just behind him, and the impact is such that it lifts him off of his feet and throws him over the wall of this French fort. he lands miraculously intact. He is able to get up and just go, oh yeah, I guess I'm inside the fort now. I will see what I can do. He is, fortunately, I guess, depending on your historical viewpoint, he is armed with a pistol, and he goes from room to room inside the fort looking for French soldiers. And of course, all the French soldiers, we are, I'm sorry, I can't do a French accent right now.
Try. Please try.
Sorry, we are sitting back here. We are not worried about the bombs.
This sounds very German.
What do you want? I'm drunk. I can only do so many accents. The Frenchmen can only... The French aren't worried about the German attack. The point is that they're busy sitting around playing cards. They're not worried about it at all. And this lone German soldier goes from room to room, finding each French patrol, basically doing what we're doing now, getting drunk except without cards. He captures every single room, ties them up. This is an entire fort. And he opens the front doors to allow the Germans to rush forward and capture the fort without firing a single goddamn shot. Sorry, that's fucking incredible that that actually happened and then that man survived and lived to write about it.
Erner, glass, cling, drink, go!
So, if we're going to end this panel, Alkali, I think...
My friend, you are doing a wonderful job. Let's give credit where credit is due. Ladies and gentlemen, this person over here contacted us months before the con and said, I would like to run drug history, and Huskun said, no. He came back and said, look, you guys got the talent, let me run this, and Huskun said, maybe. Huskun sent an email to this gentleman saying, look, if you go at the only time slot available, which is after MST3K, you're going to deal with a panel of 4 to 7 people who are totally drunk. Are you sure you want to do this? This guy said, I'm a historian. That was the email that he sent us. Guys, let's give it up for a very good friend of mine.
So, to properly end this panel...
He's okay. He's a historian. He'll
I'm sorry. Every now and then, I'm blinder than Xander. I have almost no vision on my left eye. So, what I would like to end this panel with, officially, Alkali, let's end it with the Chicago Toast. Would you lead us in it, sir?
If you have a drink, grab the drink. If you don't, raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, the traditional Chicago Toast. Are you ready? Guys! Here's to you! Here's to me! Forever friends, we shall be! And if we ever disagree, fuck you! Here's to me!
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful con. Thank you for staying up with us to put up with this non-professional bullshit.
I think we made $12 for charity.
Woo! Good money. How much?
How much did you make?
This parrot?
Go to bed.
What's that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made $53 for charity!
Way more than we deserve. Thank you.
Guys, this is his first panel. We're $50 away. I know some of you are waiting. Let's get him to 3 digits, shall we? I need $40 more, and I'm throwing in a 20. Does somebody else got a 20?
No, I don't got you.
We got it. Guys, let's give it up for Erner for his first panel.
Only $300 more to get to $50.
Silver got the man, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.